It's time to stop listening to doctors. Well, not most doctors, but definitely some doctors.
The big gap between this mask and your face, it's not going to protect you anyway.
380 trillion viruses in our body. Pathogens are coming and going.
The flu virus in this country is vastly more consequential.
Science is a liar sometimes.
In fact, there's so much lying from medical experts, I'm starting to wonder if any of these guys know what they're talking about at all.
So it's likely that we will get what's called an efficacy signal.
Okay, yeah, a lot of doctors are pretty smart. But the point stands. I'm getting sick of it. We've known about this for a very long time. We've let these guys have their shows where they get to give their expertise on different subjects and sell the occasional scammy product. And that was all well and good. But we're reaching a point here where these guys could be costing people their lives. If you're looking for knowledge to help protect yourself, you need to be getting that information from actual experts.
Knowledge.
Let me break it down for you. There are two kinds of doctors. Doctors and TV doctors. Let's think about what that would look like in other industries. We have policemen and TV policemen. We've got firefighters and we've got TV firefighters. We've got attorneys and we've got TV attorneys. If I was debating having a fun Tuesday night, I might choose Saul Goodman as my attorney. But if I was on trial for murder, I wouldn't. Even our Commander-in-Chief Donald Trump has a bone to pick with these guys. Tweeting, remember this, the worst doctors by far are celebrity doctors. If you see their names or read about them in the newspapers, stay away. And the man makes a good point. Be careful when celebrities pivot into other fields. Unfortunately, there's a real problem with incentives, and a lot of these TV doctors, even though they may have legitimate medical degrees, well, they're not really incentivized to give you the best advice. They're incentivized to try and make money. And so we have this issue at play. We have a person who may be a medical professional, but they now want you to buy stuff from them or want you to believe what they're saying, rather than them just having the goal of trying to make you better. Don't get me wrong, overall doctors are very smart. That's why they're doctors and you're not. So overall, it's very good to defer to the experts. But you also have to realize that sometimes even doctors can be fucking morons. Throughout the ages, snake oil salesmen have always tried to lead us astray. It was happening hundreds of years ago, and it's still happening today. Vitamin donuts for pep and vigor. Stay fit and slim by taking amphetamine. For a better start in life, start cola earlier. How soon is too soon? Not soon enough. Cigarettes stay joy, cure asthma. That one is especially fucked up. Burn old flashlight batteries in the fireplace now and then. The Star asbestos pad for dining tables. Those really didn't age well. Anyway, let's take a closer look at some of the main perpetrators today who are spreading information that's not exactly medically based. First up on that list, Dr. Drew.
Doesn't hurt anybody. That should be the headline. Way less serious than influenza. That's the headline.
Your probability of dying from coronavirus, much higher being hit by an asteroid, I would say.
The flu virus in this country is vastly more consequential, and nobody is talking about
This
that.
corona thing doesn't worry me at all.
It is a press-induced panic. I am angry about it. It is the flu.
If you're under 65 and you get it, you're going to have the flu.
Say we do have 100,000 deaths in the country. Remember, we get 30,000 deaths from the flu. This is going to be, we predicted from the beginning that this is going to be worse than the flu. So we'd have to at least have 30,000 deaths for it to be worse than the flu.
But do we wait till 20,000 people die and then start panicking?
It's not going to happen.
Okay.
That's the point. It's not going to happen.
I believe you.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing, but it's actually somehow not as embarrassing as what happened over on Twitter. Interestingly, I think you're more safe ignoring Dr. Drew than you are hanging on to your retweets, but you know, pick your poison. Also, nothing says, hey, take this tweet seriously, like using the wrong form of copyright. Also, I hate to break it to you, but you can't call it intellectual property if it's not intellectual.
It is the flu.
But this is a classic tactic from people in power to try and influence people to do what they want by threatening to sue them. In fact, I've had many people threaten to sue me along the way, and I've yet to make it to court. I'm sure that those notices are in the mail, but it hasn't happened yet.
Something that I have looked into is taking legal action against Doug. I will take you to court or whatever the legal action has. Apparently I do have a good case.
Either way, this is a tactic that people use to try and get you to do what they want. Essentially, by threatening legal action, they're hoping that you're just going to cave. The bottom line when it comes to fair use is that if someone is a public persona and they put something out into the world publicly, you do have a right to comment on it or show it to be able to talk about it or make fun of it. There is a lot of flexibility there for you to be able to talk about it.
We got to get control of the people that are fanning the hysteria.
So if what Dr. Drew wasn't already ridiculous enough where he's made all of these comments about how not a big deal the coronavirus is and these constant flu comparisons, if all of that wasn't bad enough, now to try and threaten people that he's going to come after them afterwards is just downright disgraceful. That's why if you're watching Dr. Drew, I only have one thing I want to say. I'm showing things that you said publicly to make fun of you in my YouTube video. So go ahead and sue me. I'm not scared.
You made me look stupid. I'm gonna sue you too. Well, fine. Go ahead and sue me.
Anyway, let's move on and talk about our next doctor, Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing this, but this guy is running for US Senate, and apparently he also invented the email. In fact, apparently saying that he invented email is something he's been fighting for a long time. In fact, he's even tried to sue people for saying that he didn't. Push came to shove, and this ultimately ended up in a US district court with a judge saying, quote, "It's safe to say you didn't invent email." It's a real thing that happened. How about that? But back on topic, Dr. Shiva has some pretty interesting ideas with what's really happening with the coronavirus. Let's take a listen.
The person that's imposing this policy right now is a gentleman by the name of Anthony Fauci. It is most of these people at most academic institutions today are controlled by Chinese money. They want you to be immunocompromised. They want you to be scared. That is what Mr. Fauci is doing. He wants you to be scared. He wants the president to be scared, and he wants the American people to be scared. So next year this time, all of us will be handcuffed with vaccines and Big Pharma mandating to us top-down medicine. And he's got, by the way, Hollywood behind him too, okay? All the Hollywood, a lot of stupid people there.
It's really just that simple. We need to fire Fauci because the Chinese are in control of Hollywood and our immune systems need to get boosted so that we can get back to work. I'm not missing anything, right? I think I might be missing something. Also, according to his Wikipedia page, during the 2019-2020 coronavirus pandemic, Ayyadurai used social media to spread various conspiracy theories and misinformations about the pandemic. Most notably here, in a video he uploaded to YouTube titled "How to Kill Coronavirus," he claimed it was possible to kill the virus by inhaling hot air from a hairdryer. Pretty wild and dangerous stuff. And guys, please, if you're at home, don't find your hairdryer when you believe you have the corona. But luckily, this guy can't do too much damage. He's just running for US Senate as one of the only 2 declared candidates in Massachusetts. On the other hand, he's a Republican in Massachusetts. So I think we can all breathe a little easier. Next up is a classic TV doctor. You've almost certainly heard of him. And we're talking about Dr. Oz. Lately, Dr. Oz has been getting the word out, telling people to not wear masks because I don't really know.
It is your patriotic duty to not use a mask. Now,
To not use a
mask. The big gap between this mask and your face, it's not going to protect you anyway. So why waste money buying them? Because they're expensive. They're pretty... But here's me flying across the country earlier this week, proudly mask-free.
He's also been saying hydroxychloroquine looks promising. Now, this is something we've been hearing more and more lately, that this could be a solution for COVID-19. Hydroxychloroquine is something that was used for malaria. It's a very strong anti-malaria drug, but there's really no proof to suggest that it's going to be good for coronavirus. It's a weird suggestion because there doesn't seem to be much evidence that supports this can be good for coronavirus. Not to say there's much evidence the other way, there's just not really much evidence of anything. So you do have to wonder, where is he getting this from?
The other thing that we bought a tremendous amount of is the hydroxychloroquine, which I think, as you know, it's a great malaria drug. It's worked unbelievably. It's a powerful drug on malaria, and there are signs that it works on this, some very strong signs.
Okay, that makes some sense. I can see where this is going, but if I get the coronavirus, I'm sticking to tried and true methods, like hair dryers. The main problem with the hydroxychloroquine answer is that, frankly, the evidence is just so small. In fact, one of the main studies being used to say this could help is a study of just 24 people. Is that really enough for us to say anything conclusive? Seems to me the answer to that is probably no. But hey, I'm not a scientist. But you don't have to take my word for it. We can hear from Anthony Fauci.
The data are really just at best suggestive There have been cases that show there may be an effect, and there are others to show there's no effect.
Okay.
So I think in terms of science, I don't think we could definitively say.
These TV doctors will say anything to get on TV. This is a bit off topic, but Dr. Oz hasn't just been making headlines from his bad coronavirus takes. He's also been making headlines for his bad other ones.
I got an idea. Now, you have the bandana. You probably remember these from when you were younger, right? And you can wear the bandana like you're a bandit. Like this, put them around your head, tie them in the back, pull it down.
The last person I want to talk about today is Peter Navarro, who has not exactly gotten along with Fauci at the White House.
What are your qualifications to weigh in on medicine more than Dr. Anthony Fauci? Why should we listen to you and not Dr. Fauci?
Well, let me suggest, John, that later in the day you have William Grace on, another famous doctor in the city of New York. He can talk eloquently about this. But John, doctors disagree about things all the time. My qualifications in terms of looking at the science is that I'm a social scientist. I have a PhD.
We're getting conflicting information right now, and god damn it, we need answers. Is anyone here a social scientist? Stat! Here's the moral of the story. People are incentivized to lie, or people are sometimes dumb, or sometimes people mean the best but they have the wrong information. And so when you're trying to understand a topic better, do some research on your own and try to understand scientifically to the best of your ability what things actually do. Don't just buy into the hype because there's a name that you recognize saying to do something, because that's how you end up looking like this guy.
Like you're a bandit.
Try to look for consensus within the scientific community, and I get it, it's a very political climate right now, but typically speaking, scientists aren't going to be too political. They're mainly trying to do, I believe the term is science. That's not to say that there aren't exceptions, and that's also not to say that there aren't third-party studies that are done with special interests in mind, so you have to really try to remain skeptical. In fact, that's a good way to approach things. When you hear experts tell you something, listen to it, but be skeptical and make sure to research it afterwards. Also remember that just because someone's good at one thing doesn't mean they're going to be good at something else. Like, for example, let's say that you were a really good poker player. That doesn't mean you're just going to be able to go over and start talking about the news and people are going to want to listen, because frankly, you really might be quite bad at it. I'm not too sure about that one though. I'm not a doctor. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what we got coming out next. We're doing a few less videos a week, but we're trying to really make them good ones and put some research into it. So I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you again soon.